Welcome to Unbound, the podcast with Beth Curry, author, storyteller, and survivor. This is where books meet real life, where Beth reads chapters from her work and breaks free from the traditional audiobook format, diving deeper into the personal experiences, lessons, and liberation behind every page. Nothing is off limits. Let's get unbound.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Unbound, Season 2, The Weight of Truth. I am Beth, and today I'm reading and talking about the lies you've been told about yourself and the truth that you need to hear instead. This is Chapter 14 in the book called You Are Not Broken. If I could go back and talk to my 16-year-old self, the girl who was already carrying trauma and weight and shame like they were permanent parts of her identity, I would grab her by the shoulders and tell her 3 things that would have saved her decades of suffering. You are not broken, you are not lazy, and you do not have to earn your worth through suffering. But since I can't go back and save that girl, I'm going to tell you instead, because if you're reading this book, some part of you is still that girl or boy. Some part of you still believes the lies that the world taught you about your body, your worth, and your potential. So listen carefully. You are not broken. I know it feels like you are. I know you've tried so many times to change, to lose weight, to get healthy, to get your shit together, and it feels like you keep failing. I know you've started to believe that some people are just meant to be fat, just meant to struggle, just meant to accept less than what they actually want. I know you've been told that wanting to change your body means you don't love yourself. I know you've been told that being dissatisfied with your health is internalized depression. I know you've been told that some bodies are just supposed to be a certain way, and fighting that is fighting nature. All of that is bullshit, complete and utter bullshit. You are not broken. Your body is not broken. Your metabolism is not permanently damaged. Your willpower is not defective. Your brain is not wired wrong. Your genetics are not your destiny. You are a human being who learned some dysfunctional coping mechanisms because you were dealing with things that no one taught you how to handle. You are a person who developed patterns that made sense at the time but don't serve you anymore. You are someone who got stuck in stories about yourself that were never true to begin with, but none of that makes you broken. You are not lazy. I know you've been called lazy. I know you've called yourself lazy. I know you've looked at thin people and wondered, what's wrong with you that you can't just eat less and move more, like it's supposed to be simple? But you know what I've learned? The people who struggle the most with weight are often the people who are working the hardest in other areas of their lives. They're the people who are dealing with trauma, managing difficult families, working demanding jobs, raising children, caring for aging parents, surviving abuse, battling depression, or handling any number of life circumstances that would break other people. They're using food to cope with things that would send other people to therapy, to rehab, to prescription medications, or to complete breakdowns. They're managing more emotional labor than most people could handle, and they're doing it while hating themselves for the one coping mechanism that's keeping them functional. That's not lazy. That's heroic. You've been working harder than you know just to survive. You've been carrying weights that other people can't even see. You've been fighting battles that no one gives you credit for fighting. The fact that you're still here, still trying, still believing that something better is possible, that's not lazy. That's extraordinary. Believe it. And you do not have to earn your worth through suffering. This is the big one. This is the lie that keeps so many people trapped in cycles of self-punishment and shame. You do not have to suffer to be worthy of love. You do not have to struggle to deserve happiness. You do not have to punish yourself for past mistakes to earn the right to a better future. You do not have to hate your body to prove you're humble. You do not have to accept less than what you want to prove you're grateful. You do not have to stay small to prove you're not selfish. You are allowed to want more. You are allowed to want to feel good in your body. You are allowed to want to be healthy and strong and capable. You are allowed to want to look in the mirror and feel proud of what you see. None of these desires makes you shallow or vain or selfish. They make you human. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to have needs. You are allowed to prioritize your health without feeling guilty about it. You are allowed to make choices that serve your well-being, even if other people don't understand them. You are allowed to outgrow ideas that once helped you but don't serve you anymore. You are allowed to change your mind about what self-love looks like. You are allowed to decide that accepting your body means taking better care of it, not just tolerating whatever happens to it. You are allowed to want more, and you are allowed to go after it. Here's what took me decades to understand. The voice in your head that says you deserve better, that you're capable of more, that this doesn't have to be your permanent reality, that voice isn't internalized oppression. That voice is society. It isn't society programming. That voice isn't your eating disorder or your vanity or your weakness. That voice is your wisdom. That voice is your life force. That voice is your future self calling you toward who you're meant to become. Stop arguing with that voice. Stop trying to silence it with body positive mantras that don't actually bring you peace. Stop treating your desire for more as something to be ashamed of. Start listening to it. Start trusting it. Start following where it leads. I wish I could go back and tell my younger self that the discomfort she felt in her body wasn't something to ignore or accept or make peace with. It was information. It was her body's way of telling her that something needed to change. I wish I could tell her that wanting to be healthy wasn't vanity. It was self-preservation. That wanting to be strong wasn't superficial. It was survival. That wanting to feel good in her own skin wasn't selfish. It was her birthright. I wish I could tell her that she didn't have to wait for permission from anyone else to want those things for herself. But I can tell you, you don't have to wait for permission either. You don't have to wait until you've suffered enough or struggled enough or proved yourself worthy enough. You are worthy now. You are worthy of health now. You're worthy of happiness now. You're worthy of a life that feels good to live now. Not because of what you do or how you look or what you accomplish, because you exist, because you're here, because you matter. The person you're becoming, the healthy, strong, confident version of yourself, she is not someone to have to earn the right to be. She's someone you already are, waiting for you to stop hiding her behind old stories and comfortable lies. You are not broken, and you do not need to be fixed. You just need to be uncovered. You just need to be set free. You just need to be given permission to want more and the tools to go after it. That permission, it doesn't come from anyone else. It comes from you. So give it to yourself right now, today. You're allowed to want more. You deserve to have it. And you are absolutely capable of creating it. Stop waiting for someone to tell you that. Quit reading me telling you to do that. Start telling yourself. Now. Do it. Breathe. Real talk questions. What would you tell your 16-year-old self right now? Not advice about weight loss or diet strategies. What would you tell her about her worth, her potential, her right to take up space and want more for herself? Write it down, then read it to your current self. Where are you still trying to earn your worth instead of claiming it? Are you still trying to prove you deserve love by being helpful? Still trying to prove you deserve respect by being small? Still trying to prove you deserve good things by suffering through bad things? Where are you auditioning for a life you already deserve? What voice in your head have you been calling internalized depression? That might actually be wisdom. That voice that says you deserve better, that you're capable of more, that this doesn't have to be permanent. What if that's not your eating disorder or society's programming? What if that's your inner knowing trying to save your life? Worth declaration exercise. Complete these sentences and read them out loud. I am worthy of health because I am worthy of happiness because I am worthy of love because I am worthy of respect because I am worthy of wanting more because. If you struggle to complete any of these sentences, start with, I am worthy because I exist, because I am here, because I matter. Now take each statement and replace I am worthy of with I choose to create, and read them again. Permission slip practice. Write yourself permission slips for the things you've been afraid to want. I give myself permission to want to feel strong and capable in my body. I give myself permission to prioritize my health without feeling guilty. I give myself permission to outgrow ideas that no longer serve me. I give myself permission to want more than just accepting whatever happens to me. I give myself permission to take up space and have needs. Add your own. What do you need to give yourself permission to want, to do, or to become? Future self letter. Write a letter to your future self, the version of you who has created the health and life you want. Tell her what you admire about her, what you're doing now to become her, what you hope she remembers about this journey, what you want to thank her for. Then write a letter back from her to you telling you what she's proud of you for doing, what she wants you to know about your worth, what she wants you to stop believing about yourself, and what she knows you're capable of. Daily worth reminder. Every morning this week, look in the mirror and say, I know it still feels weird to do it, but do it. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You do not have to earn your worth through suffering. You are allowed to want more, and you deserve to have it. Every evening, ask yourself, how did I honor my worth today? How did I treat myself like someone I love? What did I do that the old me would be proud of? Truth bomb. You are not a project to be fixed. You are not a problem to be solved. You are not broken, defective, or permanently damaged. You are a human being who learned some patterns that don't serve you anymore. You are a person who internalized some stories that were never true. You are someone who has been trying to earn something you already possess. Your worth is not conditional. Your value is not negotiable. Your right to want more, to take up space, to prioritize your well-being, to create a life that feels good to live, that's not something you earn. That's something you claim. Stop trying to prove you deserve better. Start acting like you already know you do. The person you're becoming isn't someone you have to earn the right to be. She's someone you already are, waiting for you to stop hiding her behind shame and self-doubt. You are not broken. You never were. You just forgot how powerful you actually are. Remember. So if I could go back and talk to my 16-year-old self, I don't know if she'd believe me. She was so deep in the shame and trauma and self-hatred by that point that she'd already learned all the wrong lessons about her body and her worth and what she was allowed to want for herself. But I would try anyway. Smack her upside the head, shake her by the shoulders, whatever. I'd tell her, you're not broken, you're not lazy. You don't have to earn your worth through suffering. And don't let him do that stuff to you anymore. But that's a whole other story. And then I tell you the same thing, because if you're reading this or listening to this, some part of you still believes those lies too. You are not broken. I know it feels like you are. I know you've tried so many times and it feels like you keep failing. And I know you've started to believe that some people are just meant to be this way, meant to struggle, meant to accept less. It's bullshit. You're not broken. You learned some dysfunctional coping mechanisms because you were dealing with things no one taught you how to handle. You developed these patterns that made sense, but they don't serve you anymore. It's just nonsense now. You got stuck in stories about yourself that were never true to begin with. None of that makes you broken or lazy. God, I hate that one. Because so many of us have internalized this lie so deeply. We look at thin people and wonder what's wrong with us, that we can't just eat less and move more. But, the people who struggle the most with weight are the people working the hardest in other areas of their lives, just like I said. We have so much on the go, and we're so drained physically and emotionally, all the shit that we're dealing with, this everyday life shit, and we're just using food to cope with things that would send other people to the loony bin. They got to bring those back, by the way. Whole other conversation. But yeah, that's not lazy. You've been carrying weight that other people can't see, and fighting battles that nobody gives you credit for. And yeah, it's just too much. It's too much to call that lazy. It's nonsense. You're not lazy. And you don't have to earn your worth through suffering. This is the lie that keeps people trapped the longest, I think. The belief that you have to suffer to be worthy of love, that you have to struggle to deserve happiness, that you have to punish yourself for past mistakes to earn a better future. What nonsense is that? You don't have to hate your body to prove you're humble. You don't have to accept less. You don't have to stay small. All of this, you're allowed to want more, and you're allowed to feel good, and you're allowed to want to be healthy and strong and capable and all those things. Doesn't make you shallow or vain or selfish. My God, I got called vain by someone who I knew back in elementary school. She said that me going to have my lipedema liposuction so that I could regain my mobility was just vanity. That was the end of that friendship, because thanks for that, but no. And thanks for not bothering to pay any attention to me and my story and any of it. So anyway, yeah. Those things don't make you shallow or vain or selfish. They make you human. The voice in your head that says you deserve better, that you're capable of more, It's your wisdom, that voice. It's your future self calling you toward who you're meant to be. So don't argue with it anymore. Don't fight with it anymore. All those exercises, the daily worth, the future self, all those things, do them. Like I always say every episode, do those exercises. Believe me, even if it's uncomfortable, they help and they will help you grow. They will help you deal with this mental shit and succeed. And don't forget that you're a human being. You learned some patterns that don't serve you now. Patterns can be changed. Stories can be rewritten. Old beliefs can be replaced with new ones. Your worth isn't conditional. Your value is not negotiable. Your right to want more and take up space and prioritize your well-being. It's not something you earn. That's something you claim. Stop trying to prove that you deserve better. Start acting like you already know you do. Okay? Yeah, you're not broken. You never were. Remember that. Don't forget that. Remember that you're worthy. Remember that you're capable. Remember that you're allowed to want more and go after it. Before I go, if you want to discuss this episode with others, there's a link in the Facebook group. There's a Facebook group. There's a link in the show notes. All my content's free. Always will be. Support information if you want to support the production costs because they're there and I'm paying for them. That's also in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget who you are. See you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to Unbound with Beth Curry. Join the conversation in the Facebook group or visit authorbethcurry.com. Want to support the show? Head to ko-fi.com/unbound podcast. Until next time, stay unbound.